So Contra Tiempo is an activist dance theater company based in Los Angeles, California. We are at the intersection of dance activism, art making, and advocacy and education work. Our work really is not just about one of those things, but it really is about the ways in which all of those things can work together and this larger framework and idea of how our bodies are at the root of liberation.
I think one of our major goals in the creating of Roots of Loving Us is the widespread distribution of love. When we choose to love with that kind of intentionality, we are always each other's family.
Roots of Loving Us is a project about love. It's a project about how do we build beloved community, how do we be in relationship with one another from a perspective of familying as if it were a verb.
Contra Tiempo has definitely provided a space where we can just create, make mistakes, and play. It doesn't feel like we're coming into a dance workshop or a rehearsal or intensive or anything, because a lot of times those spaces can feel very intimidating. It's great because we're just conversing the plane of what it is to be an artist. I think that this workshop is a very great foundation for planting those roots for something really beautiful to just grow and sprout with the Roots of Loving Us. The creation, the play, the exploration, all of that comes from the roots. It comes from the soil.
The more hateful and divisive and separate the world is becoming, I think this kind of work becomes more urgent and more critical. So I feel really lucky that we get to do this work right now. And every single time we're engaging in the rehearsal process or in the conversations with our collaborators, it feels like such a gift right now to be up to this piece. The actual creative process of the work that we share is usually multi-year and involves lots of different folks from our local community, but also from across the country participating in this idea.
There's this way that we've gotten to invite community members to be with us in different layers, different iterations of what it is that we're just cultivating. Let yourself out. And just share what you're remembering, either in movement or word.
So our organization is deeply rooted in protest and activism as a framework for thinking about how do you make a difference in the world, understanding that so many of our ancestral practices, movement practices, are rooted in protest.
Social empathy that you can generate within yourself for other human beings just through movement is insane. We all need to learn that there's power behind community and culture and just representation, and that our Black and brown bodies is resistance. Dance really is very special. That's where the artivism comes from. It's from being able to understand yourself, heal from your story so that you have room to gain empathy and gain love for people that you don't know. I didn't know any of these people before I came here. After one night, I felt like they were all family. That's what the mission is.
We're clear in our organization that the roots of many of these dance forms is protest. Our bodies root us and ground us in what is present. There is this way that Contra Tiempo's work is literally asking us to ground and root down in the physical, in the present, in the relationship of person to person, in mutual aid, in community, in connection. And these things are literally superpowers to remind us of how we actually have the capacity to not only fight back against these incredibly violent and oppressive things that are happening all around us. There's this incredible power right now and this moment that we're being called forth to show up for one another.
The artistry that we are creating is coming from this activist point of view and thought process and foundation. I think dance is such a universal language, and it allows us not to just speak in a way that we can only speak to one type of person. The work that we do, we want to be able to be open to everybody. For people to be able to see what's happening on stage is a reflection of what's happening in their lives, or what's going around in the world, or what's happening right now at this moment.
The practice of dancing and the connection to my spirituality, I think for sure, are incredibly interconnected.
Art is like a tangible souvenir that you bring back from another universe. Dance is a very special kind of souvenir that you get to bring back because it's not just something that you utilize other mediums for. You don't have to have a tape, you don't have to have a camera or a microphone. It's your body. To be able to have that souvenir kind of channeled through you, through your movement, is something really special, really beautiful. The act of creating within your own entity is something very powerful and very beautiful that I think that everybody should be able to experience.
Dance to me is spiritual practice. Dance to me is in relationship to the divine. I feel deeply grateful that I get to do it for a living because it's like getting to actually just practice relationship with spirit all the time as a job. It's pretty amazing. Contra Tiempo's creative processes are multi-layered, and it's not just about what's happening with dance company members who are employees of our company, but it really is this exponentially growing process that is inviting all kinds of different people to participate. There are a lot of different actions and engagements that we're going to be doing all over Los Angeles that anyone can participate in, and whether you've had dance experience or not, it's really about showing up in your fullness and your humanity and participating in the work that we're up to.
Any ways that you would like to participate, ultimately the invitation is open.
El arte es una herramienta preciosa para nosotros recordar la humanidad que tenemos y eso es algo súper importante. Talleres como este que estamos haciendo, en realidad nosotros nos nutrimos de compartir. No tienes que ser bailarín profesional, lo único que tienes que es reconocer tu necesidad de expresión, que quizás la descubres una vez llegas, no necesariamente sabes que necesitas quizás expresarte o convertir en esa comunidad, pero cuando llegas ya descubres que sí, y eso yo creo que es quizás una manera de llegar a las personas, hacerle entender que el arte es una necesidad humana, expresarnos de cualquiera de las vertientes que el arte tiene.
My approach to facilitating learning or being with groups, for me, it's maybe the honesty that I share a lot of curiosity, that I don't really perceive myself to be in any other kind of position other than as a community member, being guided more from my own body's inquiry in relationship to how maybe I might research material on the outside, investigate all of the things that are around me. My first primary teacher is my body. Many of the challenges came first in resourcing the work. One of the hardest and most unfortunate parts of the inception or conception process of being an artist or making artwork is to wonder how you'll feed it, how you'll nourish it.
One of the challenges is articulating the depth and power of the work in words before we actually have done the work to embody these ideas. It's almost like we're asking people to show up and trust whatever comes up when people are there is going to be the thing that needs to get created. And I do think that feels a little unknown for people, and they're not really sure like what they're signing up for. And when they do show up, it's incredible and inspiring and moving, and everybody's like, I'm so glad that I came. So far, that's the experience and the feedback that we're getting. It's such a space of discovery that feels really exciting, but also challenging to articulate.
I feel like Roots of Loving Us has given me like the full spectrum, the full experience of what is to be a Contra Tiempo company member or like just an artist in itself, collaborator. Because it's been like different like practices of time and like how to interact with people, how to create, how to perform the stories. I feel like through Roots of Loving Us, but also through like the processes of within Contra Tiempo, we always in like that eagerness of like getting to know, getting to connect. The one thing that we all can agree on and use dance as a tool to unify us as well. I feel like every time that I go in different communities through Contra Tiempo, it's always like a look or like a smile with someone that the humanity of us I have experienced, and it's always like a beautiful anecdote or like something to share.
Contra Tiempo has reminded me every single day that if we just keep pushing and we keep pushing towards the good and keep seeing the good in things and keep seeing the love and keep anything that you do with love is so important. It has changed my entire perspective on life. And even though I am going through some insane things right now and like my life feels like it's a disaster, every time I come into a space with Contra Tiempo, I know that I am held by community and I know I'm held with so much love. And it's so beautiful and I love it.
The best aspect to being part of Contra Tiempo is truly like being yourself. Everyone bring their little like seed, nuggets of wisdom as we call it sometimes. We have different backgrounds and perspectives of life, and it's been great to get to know and to broaden my way of thinking life.
Me gusta trabajar con unos compañeros y todos los colaboradores que creen en mejorar el mundo. Lo más que disfruto es eso, saber que estoy trabajando con personas buenas, de un talento precioso. Queremos mejorar el mundo y lo queremos hacer a través del arte.
Cuando estamos en estos momentos de conexión entre la tierra, entonces vemos que no hay diferencia del uno al otro. De esto es que todos somos diferentes, pero al mismo tiempo todos somos iguales, porque conectamos con nuestras mismas historias. También cuando nos encontramos en comunidad, nos sentimos apoyados. Si nos unimos, unidos es que vamos a hacer un cambio, porque unidos es como fortalecemos nuestras ideas, fortalecemos nuestras luchas y resolvemos nuestras necesidades.
What I would say to people that is new to experiencing Contra Tiempo in any of our forms is to bring yourself thinking that you are more than enough.
I would encourage anyone who feels interested in what does this look like for us to be practicing love and practicing community in this way. If that feels interesting to you, or come to an event, and I think you then coming and sharing in the actual final performance work is gonna feel so much more rooted in your relationship with the work.